Don't play with it, don't play with it, don't play with it. Don't play with it.
Hey everybody, it's your girl Shy here. Yes, I am back with another video, y'all. So as you guys already know, in today's video, we're going to be breaking down episode 1 of Baddies Africa, y'all. So if you guys see episode 1 like how I've seen it, which was what, 2 weeks ago now? Child, I am so late with this video, but your girl just recently moved, y'all. I just moved, so it's been a lot going on. But of course, I wasn't going to let that stop me from making this content and of course updating y'all on what happened on Baddies Africa. So if you haven't seen the episode already, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. And even if you didn't see it, like, comment, and subscribe to my channel and put on the post notification bell because I'm going to be dropping an episode recap every time an episode drops so that way you guys can be updated on what's been happening on the show. Because I'm going to watch it, even though I said I wasn't going to, but I am going to watch it because, you know, we got to talk to see, you know, where things go as far as like the whole Baddies franchise. Like we want to know exactly what's going on. So if you guys are excited like me, we're going to be doing this breakdown recap. Enough of the rambling. We're going to get straight into it because a lot had happened in this episode, y'all. So let's get right into it. Exactly what happened, what went down, like who are some of the new girls, like how are we feeling about them. You know, we're going to break everything down, y'all. So let's go. So y'all, as the episode starts, we get like a brief recap of what exactly went down on Baddies Midwest, which was the previous season. They get into all of the fights, all of like the good moments, the bad moments. Everything was kind of like recapped as far as like the previous season. And yeah, like I was loving like the different clips that they posted. Now, like some of the fights were iconic. I can say that overall for the season of Midwest, but I'm excited to see like what exactly Baddies Africa can, you know, bring. Like, can it top Midwest? Because as you guys already know, as I stated previously, like the new girls, as far as like, you know, how they came in and like their energy, they actually did their big ones and they was not playing. They came in strong. So let's see if Baddies Africa, like if the new girls can bring that same energy. So the episode starts, and it starts when some of the ladies kind of like meet up in Kenya. I believe this is kind of like a clip that we will see later on in the season, but they kind of like added this in the beginning just to kind of give us like a glimpse of what exactly is going down. So it must be an iconic moment or like a, you know, really hype moment for them to even add this in the beginning. So this is what happened. So y'all, so all the girls, they get together somewhere in Kenya, right? They get together and Tommy, she pulls up on a camel. And mind you, of course, some of the ladies, they wasn't really feeling Tommy. You already know Tinka and Rolly, they got shot by the BB gun that Tommy had. So it was already smoke as soon as they seen Tommy. Now, as soon as Rolly seen her, it was already like up and stuck. But as we already know, like Miss Tommy Lee, she always gonna, you know, come with a grand entrance as always. But a camel, like, that's hilarious. So when Tommy gets off her camel, y'all, so her and Rolly, as you guys can see in the image, they get into it immediately, y'all. Immediately. This is the part that got me. Like the girls that was sitting off to the side, look at DTV. Like everybody is shook because somebody get dropped. I'm not gonna say who, but somebody gets dropped on the ground, y'all. So this fight, of course, was iconic. Of course, it was a big moment for the season. Then, y'all, we started to get clips of like, you know, everybody's fights and like the different stuff that goes on as far as Baddies Africa, like the whole season. You know how like they do like the foreshadowing kind of like clip, you know, kind of like showing what's all going to go down for the season. So that's what this kind of is right here. This squabble right here was just like really like, whoa, a lot was going on. You had people falling in bushes. It was just a lot going on in this fight right here. But I think this right here was a moment where everybody was kind of like fighting, like the whole cast was just up. And yeah, I don't think the security guards can handle this one. So I don't know how Baddies Africa is going to, you know, go. But yeah, this clip right here is showing me it's about to go up. Here's the clip right here, y'all, of somebody falling in the bushes. Like this right here is hilarious. Like, not the bush. Then the intro comes on, y'all. If y'all know me, I love the intro, but now I can't say Natalie right here, she looks good right here, but the overall intro, it looks so rushed. Like I know Lemmy and everybody, whoever's on the team, I know they can come better with this, with the intros. Like I don't know who be doing the intros, but come on, y'all. It be given like, yeah, I love Canva, I love CapCut, but for you to be like a whole network, y'all should be coming with the A1 stuff, you know, and you can get that same quality from those apps. Don't get me wrong. Hello, don't get me wrong, but like, come on, y'all. This intro definitely could have been better. It was a little rushed, but you know, the ladies did look good. So A plus for that. And then you guys, the episode officially starts. So I love the African background. I love it so much. And then of course like the image kind of moves, but this right here doesn't move, y'all. But I love it so much. I love the idea that they tried to do something new as far as the Baddies franchise. And I'm glad that we actually have some African queens on the cast, because I was a little afraid about that part. Like, okay, DTB here, this one here, that one here, but are we going to actually have African baddies on the show? But I'm glad they incorporated some. Good job, Natalie. Okay, y'all, so here's where we see Natalie's first look. She actually looks good right here. I love the color on her. I love the style. I love her outfit. This is where some of the OGs are kind of like meeting up from brunch in Atlanta right before going to Africa. They just want to get together, kind of like talk about, how last season kind of went, how they're feeling about this season. It's a lot of new girls coming onto the season, so they're kind of like, breaking it down, all the beefs that some of the OGs might have had with each other. They just talk about everything. So this is where everybody's kind of like meeting up, and Natalie, she looks good right here for her first look. She looks amazing. Right here, you guys, is where Natalie, she mentions all the different stops that the ladies will be doing for this season, y'all. So first they're going to Cape Town, South Africa, y'all, and then they'll be going to Johannesburg, and then they'll be heading to Nairobi, Kenya, and then they'll be finishing in London, you guys. So the ladies are going around town, and I love it. I love it so much. And this right here, it'll give the ladies an opportunity to kind of, experience other cultures and like just take it all in, because instead of all the fighting stuff, they can actually enjoy themselves a season. So I'm excited to see like what they'll experience overall. And that's one of the things that Natalie actually mentioned. She wanted the ladies to experience another version of life, another way of life. She wanted everybody to kind of like, grab a hold to like a whole new lifestyle. She wanted them to experience something new, which is a beautiful thing. But also, she also mentioned that this season right here, she is not playing. She is not playing with the lion or her name and like the slanderous comments from like various baddies. She's just not playing the season. I don't blame her. She had mentioned that a lot of the girls have been recently disrespecting her, even after the reunion of Midwest. Like most of the girls were really disrespectful online, even in person. Like they had the audacity to even disrespect her. Now, mind you, Natalie is not perfect, trust, because she has her ways and she does stuff as well, but she's still your boss. She's still the one that is literally the mother of baddies. Like, come on, you can't disrespect her. Like, just get off of her show if you don't like it, and she has said that more than once to the ladies. So hopefully those that have a problem with that, hopefully they kind of like grab hold to that concept. If not, yeah, we will see. Yeah, we will definitely see another version of Natalie for sure this season. Okay, you guys, so Rolly, she pulls up in this beautiful two-piece ensemble. I love this color on her. I love the makeup and the hair. I think Rolly is definitely up in her game. She is definitely up in her game, as far as her looks is concerned. She's, going for the more classy baddie, and I love it on her. I love it so much, because you can always like do the ratchet baddie and, the ghetto baddie, but it's nothing like being a classy baddie. And this outfit on her, it reads classy. Like, I love it on her. I love the color. It complements her skin so well. And I'm excited to see what Rolly we get this season, because towards the end of Midwest, Rolly wasn't my favorite, but she did turn it around right here in this episode. So yeah, she's been more reserved, more laid back, and I love that about her, because hopefully, because I used to like, Rolly, I used to love, her on the different shows, but as far as like last season, like especially the reunion, I was not a fan, but hopefully we get like another version of her this season right here. So Rolly and Natalie, they're kind of like chopping it up. Rolly is saying that she is here to have a great time with the ladies, but also, she's prepared for whatever. And you have to be prepared for these type of things, you guys. If you want to be a baddie, be prepared at all times. You can't be too cool, too calm and collected, and then when somebody try to check you, you don't want to like, take up for yourself. You don't want to do that. So I'm glad that, she's here to have fun, but she's also, on her 10 toes. She's standing 10 toes down about whatever. Natalie is saying, she feels the same way, and especially like as far as like her feelings in regarding to bringing some of the the other girls back. She don't think that she should have done that. She's kind of like second guessing her choice and bringing some of the ladies back. And me too, Nat, because why did you bring DTV back after she just slapped you or punched you, whatever she did at the reunion? Like Diamond should never came back. Like, okay, she's back, but we'll see if she even stayed the whole season, because yeah, we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into what happens later, y'all. We're gonna get into it. Natalie, she expresses to Rolly about how she feels like some of the girls are not trustworthy, like she can't trust them, and which is true because, as the boss, you have to expect for people to want to hate on you. They can smile on your face and be like, yeah, Nat, gas you up, but behind the scenes, they want your spot. They want to be the boss so bad. So, like, you really have to be careful about that. Rolly was like, sometimes it's hard to kind of like be nice because the very ones that you're nice to, they will stab you in the back later on. So it's hard to play the nice person, and I definitely agree with that because I know too many instances where that has happened to me. Me being the nicer person, I've constantly got either slapped, not actually slap y'all, but the relationship kind of died because people kind of like been weird and fake, and the very ones that you were helping, the very ones you were nice to, kind of like disrespected you. So I definitely felt where Rolly was coming from. Natalie and Rolly, they both had agreed when they said that some of the OGs are kind of like entitled. Like they felt like they didn't have to try as hard, or they can just fly on a private jet, and they can be in a whole separate house than the other baddies. It's like I get where they're coming from because it's definitely given entitlement. Like you don't have to work as hard, or you don't really have to showcase your personality because I'm here, I'm constantly being called, like y'all calling my phone, I don't have to do too much. Like that attitude gets you nowhere. And I felt like as far as like the house thing, even like the private jet thing or whatever, that should have never been a thing because of course it was going to be animosity brewing because some of the old girls, the OGs, they're going to be like entitled, and then the newer girls, they're going to feel some type of way like, well dang, I'm going to be on the PJ, like why can't we have the same experience of this season like y'all do? So yeah, I definitely see both sides, and I definitely see where they're coming from. So y'all, then they start to mention some of the old girls, the OGs, that's going to be returning on the season. And Diamond had went first. DCB, she went first. I love this look on her. She looks cute. I love the hair on her. It's phenomenal. I like the color on her too. So Diamond kind of like mentioned the same thing. As far as like the whole disrespect thing Natalie was talking about, Diamond was saying that as well. Like she's not taking no disrespect from no one this season, not even that. So when she say that, she basically calling out the boss. Like that is a very bold statement. I don't know what she's kind of like doing in regards to that, like what is her motive, but we're going to get into what she actually said later on. One thing Natalie has said was like, even after the reunion, when Diamond did what she did to Natalie has said that she apologized and all of that, but right after that you went right back online and start the trolling stuff once again, and like the disrespectful stuff once again. So they basically did no elevation. They're back where they started, which is ground zero. I feel like the two ladies, they're both smart in their own lanes, and I feel like they need to focus on the positive stuff and not necessarily the negative stuff. But of course, when you're dealing with negative people, it definitely is going to be a negative situation. So that's what happened with DCB. Let me get a glimpse of Big Lex, you guys, and she was saying the same thing. I love this look on her though, but yeah, she looks cute. But yeah, she was saying basically the same thing. She said that she felt more prepared now that she's coming back on the show. So, she kind of like learned from her different mistakes and like the stuff that she went through last season. And now she's coming to this season, with a brand new mindset. All right, y'all. So then we have Summer, none other. So Summer is saying, listen, I am not going anywhere. She is back and she's here to stay, y'all. So Rolly was saying like, Summer, she definitely brought like the fun element to the show last season. So I'm excited to see what she's going to bring this season, even though I cannot stand her voice is so annoying. But you can't knock the fact that this girl is being herself, so you can't knock that. You have to give her credit for at least standing on her truth and being who she is and not changing. But I do wish that she can bring something other than like the ratchetness and like the loud drama that she bring. I really wish that she can show another side of herself. So since the girls are going to Africa, hopefully they can show some decorum this season. Here's Bad Dollar, y'all. Now she was saying that she's excited to go to the motherland. She also said that she will check anybody that's not coming correct, anybody that comes at her crazy. She don't mind getting in the paint, and that's what she's been doing all season, last season. but we'll see what energy she brings this season. Hopefully she brings something new as well, because I'm like tired of like the fighting and like all that, even though that's what the show kind of like broadcasts, promotes. But I want to see a different version of these girls, because I want to see if y'all are actually about your bag and actually about some substance, because it's not giving it at all. Now this look right here, I don't particularly like this on her. I don't like the different colors, but with Dolly, she's always going to come different, which is good, because you don't want to come like the same every single time. But it's too many colors. But she do have some cute looks though, so hopefully she brings something new. Now Pretty P, she was definitely one of my favorites last season, and I'm glad that she definitely had a chance to come back and to show once again another side of herself, because she was definitely misunderstood last season. I felt like people, they thought her name was Pretty P, so she gonna sit pretty and cute, but no, she was definitely standing on all 10 of her toes. Okay, she was not afraid to fight. She was not afraid to stand up for what she believed in, and I loved it about her. She said that she does not regret anything that happened last season, and she definitely gonna be bringing back Poppin' P. So I love it. I love it all. And y'all, Big Ivory's back, so I love this look on her. I love the hair. It fits her so well. The makeup is A1, of course. The outfit looks amazing on her. I love her energy. I love the energy she brought last year too, because once again, now she came in with the mindset of, I want to show a different version of myself, and that's a beautiful thing, because when you're known to be like this certain type of person, when you come on another platform, you want to show a different version of yourself. So I'm glad she was able to kind of show that last season, but I hope for Baddies Africa we get even more of that new and improved Ivory. So she had mentioned that now that she's not even a newbie anymore, she's now a returning baddie, so she's definitely going to be doing her big one all season long. So I'm excited to see if we're going to get that other version of Ivory, or are we going to be getting like the laid back kind of version of Ivory. So I'm excited for it all. So then y'all, some of the new baddies get introduced. So this is, I think her name is what, Cold Killer, something like that, but she's from Columbus, Ohio, y'all. So that's okay. I see you. Okay, she's giving baddie. I like this look on her. I love the hair. The makeup is A1. So I'm not really familiar with her, but we're just going to keep checking out the new girls, making sure they on a 10. She said that she always been like the popular girl, I guess, in school or whatever, but she's always been that girl. But she was saying that she is definitely aiming towards being a fan favorite. So we shall see. We shall see. I've been hearing some stuff online, saying is leaning towards that, but I don't know. We'll see. All right, y'all. So this is Fanya, I believe that's how you pronounce her name. She's from Jersey City, New Jersey. She definitely is a educated baddie, I believe. Yeah, educated baddie, and I love this about her, because it's not always about the baddie shot o'clock type vibe. You can actually be about substance, y'all. You can actually be about substance. So she's an educated baddie. She was saying that she's excited for the season, so I'm excited to see what she's gonna bring as well. Listen, she mentioned that, listen, if you don't like me, that's on you, and you have to come with that attitude, because people are going to hate on you regardless. So you can't be upset if people hate on you. Like, listen, if you don't like me, that's on you, because I am a catch. I bring a lot to the table. So I'm excited to see what she's gonna bring. I love this hair on her. Not really much of a fan of the outfit. I think she could have did a little bit more, but I love the hair on her, and the makeup is tea. So yeah, go girl. Y'all, now this girl name is Russian Cream. Now she was saying in her confessional right here that she really just auditioned just to level up in life. She really didn't come with nothing other than like, you just want money. But that's not really a good reason to experience an experience like this. Like, you're going to be in a house with a whole bunch of girls. You may not have done that before, but this might be a new experience for you. But like, if you're going to do baddies, you have to come with more than just that. Like, of course you're going to get paid to be on the show. Of course that comes with it. But like, come with some type of substance, y'all. Substance. Like, what are you about? Who are you? Not the fact that, oh, you're just auditioning to get money. Like, that's corny to me. That is very corny. But hopefully she brings something else, other than that to the table. But we shall see. All right, y'all. So we have, her name is Kay Rican, y'all. So she's from East Atlanta. So I love this blue. Let me just say this. I love this blue on her. I love the hair and makeup. She's definitely looking like a baddie. So let's see what she's about. She also mentions in her audition kind of video that they have played that she feels like she can be a really good asset to Natalie. She needs her on her side. So, I mean, We shall see, because some of the girls kind of felt like Natalie needed them, but then when it was time to do their big one, they wasn't really doing their big one. So hopefully she definitely brings that same energy. Now she also said that she have the hands to back it up, what she's feeling, what she's standing on. So we shall see. We shall see, girl. Now here's Tavi, baby. She is from New York, y'all. She is here to have a good time, but she is not to be played with. And I don't blame you, girl. I love this look on her. I love the hair. It definitely complements her skin very well. And I'm excited to see what she brings as well. Like most of the new girls, they kind of like come with the same kind of energy, but I want to see if they're actually gonna, be about what they're saying. Now this is LCK, y'all. Now she is from Zimbabwe, so she's an African baddie, y'all. She's an African baddie. Now she was saying, listen, I am Baddies Africa. Okay, come with that energy. I love it so much. Not really a fan of the hair though, but the makeup is cute. It's cute, but it could be better. But I love the fact that she came with that energy. Like, listen, I am Baddies Africa. Okay. Now, what I didn't like, she was saying like, this is gonna be my house, my rules. That type of energy. But it's like, girl, you don't know who you about to be in the house with, so you can't really say it's about to be my house, my rules, and then you're gonna be dragged the same episode. Like, come on, y'all. It's good to have confidence. I like that confidence, but at the same time, it's like, be realistic. Be realistic. Now this is either Choco Brown or Cocoa Brown. I love this look on her. It looks very elegant, very classy. Now she is from, I believe, Nigeria. So again, African baddies. So I like that they're gonna bring, actual African baddies to the show. I love that so much. So yeah, I love this look on her. Now she says she's here to have fun, but she will fight if necessary. Okay, you have to be like that. You have to stand 10 toes down on what you believe in, but also have your head on a swivel, because some of these girls are very sneaky, very shady, so you just never know how they coming. But I like this look on her, and I'm excited to see what she's gonna bring to. Now Natalie, she mentions like some of the special guests that they like including for the season. So Tommy is one of them. I don't know why they're gonna bring Tommy back, considering she brought a BB gun, even though it wasn't a real gun, but still. It was just the intention. The thought of you doing that was just like really weird. And for you to be a vet in this reality game, for you to be a vet, you should have known better. But it's like, when you're in that rage mode, you're not even thinking clearly. So I'm not justifying what she did, but I wouldn't have brought Tommy back. If I was a part of the team, to kind of like decide who's coming back, who's not, Tommy definitely would be a pick for me. But, I liked her on Baddies, but it was just a bad moment for her, a bad choice. Now here's Marissa. This is NLE Choppa's baby mom. I'm not really familiar with her, but she's a pretty girl. Not really sure what she's going to bring to Baddies, but I guess we'll see. We'll see if she can hang long, okay? Because some of the special guests, like, they was not trying to stay long at all, because they wasn't prepared for what the kind of vibe, what Baddies was kind of giving, so they wasn't ready. So hopefully she kind of lasts a little longer. Now Amber Rose is going to be joining you guys. Now she says that she's African descent, so this is like right on the money for her. I love this look right here on her. She always gives the looks and the positive energy for women, so I love it so much. I'm excited, kind of, but like, a little skeptical on what she's going to bring to the show, because I know she's good TV, so we shall see what she kind of brings to Baddies. Now I know Stunner Girl is back. I was very surprised when I found out, but Natalie brought her back. Now she did have issues with Anna, but she mentioned that she also had issues with some of the other girls as well. Now me, I didn't know that she even knew some of the other ones that she had issues with, but something went down with Ivory, so we will get into that a little bit later. But Stunner Girl's back, y'all. Natalie, she mentions that Biggie is on like a Baddies timeout because Biggie is the whole entitlement kind of like vibe that she was doing. She was one of the ones that had that kind of vibe going on. So she's on a Baddies timeout. And Rolly had mentioned that she mentioned to Biggie about the diva mentality that she had. She mentions that that's not really going to get you far in this baddie world. But of course Biggie doing Biggie, of course she didn't listen to that good advice, but that's why she's not here, y'all. Now y'all, Scotty with the body is being introduced, y'all. She was saying that she's excited for this season. She's excited to show another version of herself. Now I love the fact that now she's starting to stand up for herself more, because some of the girls were kind of like pressuring her about that, pushing that issue, like, Scotty, stand up for yourself, like, don't let this, they were trying to give her good advice, but like in the wrong way. But I'm glad that she's moving at her own pace. Sometimes you have to do that. So I'm glad that she's doing that. And I can't wait to see what she brings. And of course, she looks amazing as always. Now, y'all, when she joins Natalie and Rolly to the table, Natalie kind of like compliments her, but like in a shady kind of way. But like, Scotty had to remind her something real quick. She had to remind Natalie, like, wait a minute, you literally was just calling me ugly, saying that Big Lex was cuter than me and all kinds of stuff, and now you want to compliment me? Like, Natalie, stop. So I thought that was hilarious because at least Scotty is clocking the tea, okay? Like, don't try to compliment me now when you was just calling me ugly and just trying to like come for me out of nowhere. Now the two ladies get into it because Scotty mentioned to Natalie that she wanted Big Lex to fire her, but Natalie is saying like Scotty does a lot of stuff low key and then wants to duck from her face and don't really want to stand up for herself, and it was just a lot going on. The two ladies were like saying they were kind of like throwing jabs at each other, and like it just wasn't looking good. And Rolly was in the middle of it trying to diffuse the situation, but of course them two was like going at it. Then Anna gets introduced, y'all. So she was saying like not really much has happened since the last time we've seen her, but she's excited to be on Baddies Africa, and she's also excited to experience another season with the girls. Now she was saying like not really much has happened, but at the same time, she's ready for it all. She's excited about the new season, but her and Natalie haven't really been the same since last season. Even the reunion that just passed, Baddies Midwest. The two ladies haven't really been the same. The relationship has been rocky. So we shall see where that kind of goes. But the two ladies are not friends. Now she joins the ladies at the table, but Natalie, she immediately brings up the fact that it's funny how you got on Baddies beefing with Scotty, and remember when Anna first was introduced to us on Baddies, her and Scotty, they got into it in that restaurant. So you came on Baddies, with that type of mindset regarding Scotty. So them two will kind of like getting into it, but it's a such thing as forgiveness. Maybe they're cool now. So Natalie thought that it was kind of fake that now all of a sudden they're like buddy and they're friends, they're best friends, whatever. But I thought that was just kind of like a hater, kind of comment. Like, come on, you can literally forgive somebody. Like, I cannot like you today, and then we talk about it, hash it out. Now we're cool. Now we forgive each other. Now we're cool. So like, it's a such thing as forgiveness now. Like, it's not fake. I think it was just like, they just moved on from their issues, Scotty, she did make a good point. She was saying it's not even the fact that they were being fake. It's just the fact that Natalie don't know how to be a real friend. All she want to do is just be a boss for real, but she don't really want to be a true friend. She has to learn how to be a boss as well as a true friend to her friends, the people that's been, rocking with her since day one. So, which is true. Natalie had mentioned that it's because of Scotty's entitled behavior that kind of like caused a wedge in their friendship. Scotty feels like, again, that she's bigger than the program. I don't think she do. I think people assume that. I think that's what's assumed because low-key Scotty do be getting, the princess treatment in regards to baddies. You can't lie about that. But at the same time, I feel like, all of the ladies need to have the same experience so that way this right here won't be happening. Natalie mentioned also that because of this scene, this was like the last episode in Baddies Midwest when that big fight had went down and Scotty got on the table with the chain and stuff like that I had mentioned before. Natalie was saying that a lot of the girls were upset because of this whole scenario right here. Scotty was basically saying that she got the chain from her. That's Summer's chain, by the way. She got the chain from her. It was in Natalie's room. She was painting the narrative that she got it from Natalie, and Natalie said that's not true whatsoever. Now, y'all, here's the image of the chain being around the dog's neck. A lot of the girls did not like that when they seen the confessional, watching the show back. When they seen that, a lot of the girls had a problem with that, which is understandable because why is my chain around your dog's neck? You think I want to wear that now? Like, be respectful. It's like, I understand me was beefing, but like, be respectful. So like, all the ladies are getting into it. Natalie right here is looking like a clown because she's basically saying like, this want to be a scene later on where Anna, Natalie, and Stunner Girl meets up, so that way Stunner and Anna can finally come face to face and like hash out whatever needs to be hashed out. But she believes that the ladies are, as far as like Scotty and Anna, she believes like those two ladies are always going to duck on their face. And she was basically saying that more so about Scotty, like Scotty does a lot but then want to hide, don't really want to step in the pain and like, handle hers for real, which is not true because, Scotty has been coming around. She's been coming around in regards to that. She's been coming around, so we shall see how it kind of plays out in the scene with Stunner. So of course, because of the constant argument and going back and forth, of course they were going to get into it. Natalie, she calls her out, like, what's up, like what you want to do. The ladies get into it, and yeah, it's just not looking well at all whatsoever. Scotty kind of like jumps in, wants to throw stuff. It's just like looking terrible, y'all. This is where Scotty right here in the yellow, she wants to throw things and like really get involved. Just like, don't do that when someone calls you out. You don't want to fight them, or you pick and choose when you want to fight them. It's like, don't even jump in right here if you're not going to stand in the paint for your own battles every time. Rolly, she was saying how sad it is to even experience this because Scotty and Natalie were once best friends. Like, they were really close, and it's just sad to see how their friendship is kind of like declining in like real time, which is true because yeah, it's just a sad thing to see, y'all, and it's unfortunate that it even got to this place. But for real, has Natalie even been a real friend since the beginning? Yeah, you might have wined and dined her as your friend, but it's like, it's more than just what you can spend on her. Even in a relationship, it's the same thing in your friendships. Like, you think money and like jewelry and gifts and stuff, that's not going to buy your friendship. You have to show up as a real friend, even when the cameras are not rolling. But Natalie, she was saying like, this season enough is enough. She's tired of people like throwing her name in their beefs and their issues. She was saying that she felt like Scotty was just scared to fight Lex. That's what this whole thing is about. I don't think so, but that's what Natalie was saying, and she was feeling like, she don't really care about Scotty and the dog. That part is not even the factor. The factor is the principle of the matter. Like, you're lying saying I did something when I didn't do that. So, the girls, it seemed like those two ladies are never gonna, handle their issues. I think they need to have a conversation off camera. Maybe that'll help, but it's given very much the friendship is done, so we shall see, y'all. Natalie was saying like, even in the scene at the table, y'all, she was saying like, this only proves my point. Y'all are very entitled, and you think that you don't have to respect me as your boss. You think that you can just be online disrespecting me, call me all kinds of names and doing stuff like that, and then you won't be checked on it. You won't, but my thing is, if you really feel that way, stop inviting them back to the next season. Stop allowing them to even have a platform to even say these things about you, because it's like, if you are their meal ticket, you are the reason why they're here, you have the power to not invite them back, like, but it's just giving very much like, let me just invite them back for TV, because some of these ladies are good TV in regards to like the drama aspect, the ratings and stuff like that. But it's like, it's the principle. Like Natalie was saying, you want to stand on principles, let's stand on it. Why even invite them back if they're constantly going to be disrespectful? So she was saying, listen, this season she's not taking it anymore. She's not biting her tongue. She's not going to be just letting things skate past and slide. So I'm glad that she's finally going to correct them on this entitlement stuff. Natalie tries to go back and go in her car, to prepare for the next scene, but Rolly tries to see if she's good to check in. But Natalie was saying like, listen, I'm good. Like, I don't need anyone to check on me, because the real problem is with the other girls. Like, they think they're entitled. They think they can just disrespect me, but it's not given like they care. So A+ for Rolly trying to kind of like diffuse the situation, y'all, but it's not looking too good, y'all. So y'all, then the scene goes back to Anna and Scotty in the restaurant. Scotty was saying that Natalie takes this business stuff too far, and Anna feels like she doesn't know how to show up as a real friend to the people that has been in her corner since the very beginning, which is true, because Natalie definitely does need to improve in the friend department. Rolly sits with both girls, and she kind of like shows a mother bear kind of side to her. She was saying like, listen, everybody could have handled that situation much better because y'all were once friends, and on top of that, as OGs, you have to set the standard for how the new girls are kind of like gonna act. She was saying like, it could have been handled better, and also like, they didn't have to really throw jabs, because you cannot like what someone is doing, how Natalie's kind of like running things if she's not really being a real friend. You cannot like those things and not agree, but like to throw jabs and like do all that as if y'all weren't friends, it's just like corny for real. But I get where Rory's kind of like coming from, because this definitely could have been handled much better, y'all. Like, this was just like, yeah. She was saying like the ladies definitely needed to grow up, but Scotty doesn't believe they needed to grow up, but they definitely do, because that could have been handled much better, especially when Natalie and Scotty was getting into it. Not Scotty, but when Natalie and Anna was getting into it, Scotty decides to jump in and like insert herself in that situation. So like, you definitely need to grow up in that department. Like, if it's not your fight, don't fight it. If it's not your fight, don't fight it. But it's like, you can't pick and choose when you want to be like, well, if my friend fighting, I want to fight, and then you want to turn around and be like, we don't do no jumping. Like, it's like, pick what side you want to be on. Pick what side, But Rolly definitely gave good advice to the ladies and was saying like, listen, y'all were once friends. Y'all could have hugged it out. Y'all could have talked it out. But like, to throw Jazz was just like a no-no. That was just funny. Meanwhile, y'all, listen to this. Meanwhile, right after that whole conversation with Rolly, she gets up because she has to prepare for her link up with Stunner later on in the episode. Now, right after that, she decided to FaceTime DTB Diamond, right? She decided to FaceTime her, telling her what's going on. Now, mind you, Diamond already has her issues with Natalie, as far as like what Natalie has been doing and stuff like that. Now, why would you? I think that was just being messy, but these two ladies have decided to come up with a plan, y'all. Check this plan out. Diamond feels like it's a smart idea to kind of like make a house A, house B type situation. She wants, the new girls to be on her side, Pretty P, Big Legs, Summer, and all them, Ivory, all of them, even the newer baddies for this season. She wants them on her side, and then Natalie can have the OGs and like the other ladies, right? So I don't think this is a good idea, but it quickly backfired, and you're going to see why later on, y'all. Diamond was saying like, listen, Natalie is just not safe on her own show, and Anna was saying like, listen, first it was Nunu last year, like Natalie had brought Nunu back knowing Anna and Biggie was beefing with Nunu, and now this season you're bringing Stunner, so it's like you're deliberately bringing girls that some of the baddies are beefing with. Whoever is beefing with you at the moment, you're bringing their ops to the show so that way they can fight them instead of you. I definitely understand where Anna is coming from, because it's facts. Why are you bringing all these girls back on the show knowing they have issues with some of these girls on the show? So it's like, you as the leader, as the CEO, it's your job to protect these girls. It's your job to try to diffuse some of the animosity that's being spread, some of the lies, some of the drama. It's your job. But it's like, Natalie is doing nothing but stirring the pot, I feel like. And then she want to be like, what? Don't include me in your drama. But it's like, you are part of the problem, Nat. You are part of the problem. But I think this right here is not a good idea for Diamond to want to like team up with some of the girls to go against Natalie. Because how are you trying to go against the boss, the person that's putting money in your pocket? It's like, you want to be Nat so bad, Diamond, and it's not going to work out for you. It's not. Now, later on, y'all, in the next scene, we see that Diamond, she meets up with Ivory and Pretty P. Now, mind you, not Ivory, but Pretty P and Diamond, they had issues, but they were willing to put their beef aside for the fact that, they wanted to create an alliance to go against Natalie. I'm surprised Pretty P was even down with the plan, but listen, if she down for the cause, she down for the cause. But Ivory, she was pretty upset for this very reason, y'all. Check this out. Ivory, she really believes that Natalie was the one who set her up in regards to Stunner. Now, it was a situation with Stunner and like all these people, jumping Ivory. So she feels like Natalie was the one that kind of like gave the location to Stunner, for her in the group of people to jump Ivory. So it was a whole thing online. Ivory, she was, tore pretty badly, and she felt like it was crazy because even boys was in that group with Stunner. Like, even boys would jump on her. So it was crazy, y'all. So Ivory was saying that Natalie is crazy, that Natalie texted her, where was she at? And, she told Natalie where she was. And then not even like a few minutes later, like, she's at the hotel room. She pulls up and Stunner and like a whole bunch of people is like squad deep. And they just did what they did. So it's like, it's given very much. I can understand why she would think Natalie was the one that gave the location drop, because it was like in sequential order, like, boom, boom, boom. Like, you asked me where I was, and then out of nowhere, all these people is here to fight me. Like, it's given very much you were the one that did it. Diamond feels like Natalie, she does a lot behind the scenes, and then she even on the show, y'all, she does a lot, and then she hides her hands, she throw rocks, hides her hands, and like she's just a snake, overall snake, and she's not to be trusted. She's saying that this season she's definitely going to lead by example, and she wants the girls to feel like it's okay to go against the boss. No, it's not. But she was basically letting them know like it's okay to stand up for yourself at least, which is true. Stand up for yourself, but like to go against the boss, that's crazy. Why not just leave the whole thing altogether and find something better? Like, you can have the same opportunities. If you guys get money and all that outside of Baddies, like how y'all say, leave the show. You don't agree with it, leave it. That's all. And Diamond was saying for the meetup right here, the little alliance meetup, she had also invited the trio, which is Big Lex, Dolly, and Summer, y'all. So the ladies, they pull up. I think they already knew what time it was, considering how Dolly was kind of like dressed. She already had issues with, Honey Page. She had issues with Diamond. So yeah, you're gonna see what happens. So y'all, once the ladies officially get there, of course it goes up, y'all. So Dolly, she ran after Ivory first, and Big Lex trying to separate it, but as you guys already know, yeah, it's like when one fight, they all want to fight, they all want to jump in. So yeah, it's just not looking too good. It's just going up. So now y'all, they're getting into it. Ivory, she wanted to do another round since the ladies did fight with rings on, so she took hers off. She won another round with Dolly, but of course, as you guys already see, Summer is trying to jump in as always. So after they fight, y'all, as you guys can see, look at Dolly, y'all. She looks terrible. Her eye is like literally swollen shut. Summer was saying like, listen, Ivory, your real issues with Stunner because of that whole jumping situation, what they did to you. Your real issues with them, not even with us. So like, but she can have an issue with y'all and with them. So it's like, I didn't understand where she was getting at, but yeah. So y'all, Diamond wants to further explain like, listen, y'all, join our alliance, da 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 da. Like, Natalie is not a good friend, she's da 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 da. But they are not here for it. They are Team Natalie. They have said that over and over again. We're Team Natalie. Like, you thought we were going to go against our boss. Like, yeah, no, you tried it, but you failed. So Summer and Diamond end up getting into it, and that's what happened, y'all. After the fight, y'all, they go back and forth, but it's like, it's pointless because if they made up their mind, they made up their mind. You cannot persuade them to go against their boss, even if you feel like they need to. Dolly feels like you really thought that we were going to go against our boss. Like, that's really bad, because that's corny. She says that she wants no parts of the whole like team up against Natalie type of stunt, which is good for you, because I wouldn't want no parts of that either. Because why are you trying to get me to go against my boss? Like, because you're miserable and y'all might be beefing, that has nothing to do with me. Big Lex feel like Summer, she she did her big one in regards to stand up for herself, but Summer been doing that all season, last season. Like, no matter who the person was, whether they were bigger than her, smaller than her, whatever, she stood on her ground. She stood 10 toes down on what she meant and what she said. So she been doing it all season, so it was no different for me. But for some reason, Big Lex thought this was a new Summer. Then y'all, Summer, she decided to say the most ignorant comment ever. Y'all probably know where I'm about to go with this. The girl decides to make an ignorant comment regarding Emmett Till, and like, me as a Black American, me as a Black African American, I felt so like, it made my skin crawl. For you to think that was a good dig to use in regards to like Diamond, that was just so distasteful, so reckless, so like disrespectful all across the board. And I hope and pray that Zeus does something about that. She did give like a little apology post, whatever you want to call it, a long little something, but that means nothing because you meant what you said. You meant what you said. So it's like, I hope Zeus, bunk baddies, but I hope Zeus do something about that comment she made, period. So then this dummy decides to take somebody's purse. Come to find out that was Pretty P's purse. She was saying like, if they want their purse back and what's in it, they're going to have to see her about it. It's like, you just want to create more drama because you feel like that's going to get you far in this game. But girl, you are really stupid for real. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? So like, these three ladies, they're in the bathroom, they're talking about what literally just happened, and Diamond is expressing like, listen, it's okay, they don't want to join the alliance, but it's okay, but listen, Natalie literally treats Scotty like crap, and she's not going to treat them any different. So I mean, it's their loss, but I mean, they are grown. They have the right to pick what they want to do. If they want to be a part of this childish plan, or do they want to be a grown woman and have their mind of their own. So they chose the right path. Now, being Natalie's minion, is that the right path? No, but I feel like hopefully one of the three, or hopefully all of them, have a mind of their own to be like, listen, I'm not on anybody's, side. I am on the right side versus the wrong side. Pretty P was saying like, listen, it's nothing more to explain because listen, their mind is made up. You cannot force them to see things for what it is. They just have to learn on their own, which is true. But she comes back and notices that her bag is gone. So of course she's upset. Because I would be too. Y'all, so then it's the next scene, y'all. This is the scene where Stunna and Anna and Natalie finally have their sit down. As you guys already see, Stunna, she's dressed because she already knows what type time, it is. She already knows what's going on. She already knows what's going down. So Natalie sits down with Stunna. She's kind of like explaining to her what literally just took place at the brunch earlier in the episode. She was saying like, she feels some type of way that the new baddies are treating her better than the OGs, and the OGs are supposed to know better. Like the OGs have been very, disrespectful in regards to Natalie, and she feels some type of way that some of them have this entitlement mindset, considering, how hard it took for her to get to where she's at. Natalie's been in this game for a minute. Even though we all may not like her, we may not agree with some of the things that she has done and said, but she's been in this game for a long time. So like for you to be disrespectful to the one that's putting money in your pocket, you can't deny how wrong that is. You can't deny that. Natalie was saying like her bigger issue with Anna was the fact that she talks a lot online, but it's like the same energy is not given in person. And it's like you can't just run your mouth constantly about a person online and expect them not to feel a way about it. She was feeling like Anna was saying a lie in regards to Stunna. She wants Stunna and Anna to sit down. And Natalie, she has like this facade, like she has this front where she puts on the show and makes people believe that she is genuinely caring about friendships and people sitting down to mend issues, but you already know that the ratings are going to go up when they find out that Stunna and Anna is going to sit down and have a little talk about what went down. Of course, they're not going to do too much talking. They're going to be doing a whole bunch of fighting. So Natalie definitely knows what she's doing. Natalie was saying like she had no idea that some of the other girls in the house, even had an issue with Stunna. So she was very surprised to even hear about that. So hopefully everything gets cleared up. And I don't even know if Stunna's going to stay all season long, but we shall see. Stunna was saying like, listen, like I'll just clear it up because Natalie was not the one who gave me the location drop. Like, so it was confirmed that Natalie did not give her that location as far as the whole Ivory situation. But Natalie, she expressed once again that she's just tired of being in the middle of everybody's drama, and like people keep bringing her up saying that she's the one that's kind of like doing things and she's not doing it. Like she's tired of people lying on her, saying that she did something when she didn't do it. Y'all, and then Anna pulls up. So of course Stunna, she stands right up because she already know what time it is. So Anna, she's coming all like, mysterious, and I don't know what that was about, but the ladies, they already know what's about to go down. So yeah. Now according to Anna, she believes that Stunna started with her first online. I really don't know who started with who, but the ladies, they had ongoing online beef. So it was just only a matter of time before they actually linked up and actually did something about it, And then on top of that, her and Natalie, they get into it because she was saying that Natalie was like mentioning her name. So therefore she kind of like, I guess, heard the conversation between her and Stunna. Anna kind of heard what was going on before she popped up on the screen. But Natalie, she feels like, she just tired altogether of just backing the girls up when they have all this mouth and, not really trying to stand on anything. So Natalie feels like she's the one that's defending these girls, and like, that's not true. That's not true, because some of the girls, they are actually defending themselves, like they're doing it on their own. But I don't know why Natalie feels this way, but that's what she said. And then of course the lady gets into it with Anna, and like, yeah, it just goes up from there, the two and the fighting, and that's what happened, y'all. So the episode ends, y'all, and of course, as always, we get like a little glimpse of what's to come in the next episode for episode 2, y'all. So let's get into it. So y'all, Natalie and Anna, of course, their fight continued, and then Stunna and Anna finally have their one-on-one fight, and they kind of like hash out what was going on. Of course, the beef is still ongoing as we speak, I guess. But yeah, that's what happened with them. Then the ladies finally arrived to Africa. It looks beautiful. I believe this is Cape Town, y'all. I believe this right here is Cape Town, but it looks amazing, y'all. I can't wait to go to Africa one day. I can't wait. So the ladies are, I guess, on their way to the baddie's house, and it's already issues on the sprinter. On the sprinter, y'all. It's already issues. So of course there's fights going on, there's drama already. Like the girls just met each other. I don't know if some of them knew each other prior to baddies, but it's already up and stuck. The fights lead all the way to the actual baddie house when they finally arrive. Like it's just issues. It's just fights left and right. It's just a lot going on, y'all. It's too early in the season for all this to be happening, but hey, this is baddies, right? So y'all, I was right. This is Cape Town. So the ladies arrived to Cape Town, South Africa, y'all. And this is where everything is going to start off, all the baddie stuff in Africa. This is where we start, y'all. Here's a glimpse of like the baddie's house from like, the view on top. As you guys can see, it looks pretty nice. It looks nice from the view, but I want to see the inside. I know. I love the houses. Every time they show it, like it's giving like boss vibe. Like it's giving like million dollar mansion. I love it. But I like this vibe. I like it. And then also, like for the first episode, Natalie always want to do like these welcome circle type vibe. Getting all the girls together to kind of like get the vibes going for the season. Now, here's where things kind of like go left really fast. Really fast. So here's a glimpse of like some of the entertainment that they had. They had dancers, they had music. It was a vibe. It's an African vibe. Like it was wonderful. But here's where things take a turn for the worse. So as you guys can see in the back of Rolly and Scotty, somebody is telling Natalie in the back that somebody took their purse. I believe that's Pretty P. Pretty P had told Natalie that the trio, which is Big Legs, Dolly, and Summer, they have been involved in that whole situation, and her bag is stolen. A few things of hers that was inside of the bag was stolen. So yeah, that's what she's telling Natalie. Natalie right here, she's confronting Big Dolly about the situation. Whoever took Pretty P's stuff, step up to the plate, own it, give her stuff back. She wants her stuff back. But in the midst of them talking, there was a watch that was also Pretty P's, and Summer decides to do this, y'all. The girl threw it in the lake. She threw it in the water as if, it was just nothing. And she was like, now fish for it. She wants the girl to fish for her stuff. Yeah. And I already know that watch costed some money, so I would have been heated. So of course they get into it. I mean, you threw my stuff in the water. Of course I'm gonna fight you. Like, what's up? Like, that's crazy. Why would you throw her stuff? That's just dumb. But this is Summer. Y'all want to bring her back so bad. This is what's gonna happen. Now Summer and Dolly is kind of like tag teaming. They're even fighting some of the newer girls, which is kind of like weird to me, because we'll see next episode, in episode 2, like why that kind of like went down. We'll see. But y'all, the entertainment, they were really disappointed because I don't think they knew what they was coming to. I don't think they knew. But as you guys can see, they were completely shocked. So y'all, here is where Natalie, she confronts Diamond about her clout chasing ways and like all the online stuff that has happened. Now Natalie has said that after the reunion, her and Diamond, they talked, and Diamond apologized for everything that had went down, but she went back on live and like disrespected Natalie again. So it was back to where they started, just the online beef and like all that was going on is still going on, y'all. So because of the brawl that happened before, another one pops off, and this time Lex decided to sneak Scotty like during this whole situation. It of course threw Scotty off guard. So that's what happened with this. I thought that was corny, because if Scotty's not really a fighter, I understand you have beef with the girl, but like, dang, like do it like this. But hey, once again, if you're gonna be on Baddies, Scotty, you have to stand 10 toes down. You can't be too comfortable and too cutesy thinking you're untouchable. Like, you have to be prepared. Me personally, I don't really think they really had like beef for real. I think it was just more so, it was just issues between Summer and Scotty. But of course Lex jumping in and standing in for Summer because that's her friend. But I think that's just really corny to me. But this is how the episode kind of ended, y'all. So y'all, that was pretty much it for Baddies Africa for the first episode. Y'all, it was a lot. It was just a lot for this episode. I do want to say this, like, it's unfortunate that some of the other friendships, like Scotty and Natalie and Anna, it's just unfortunate that those relationships won't last long and it won't be as fruitful like how it was in the previous seasons. But you know, you have to do what you have to do for your peace of mind. If you feel like someone is not being a real friend, you know, it's okay to let things go in order to better yourself, in order to have your peace of mind, right? I hope and pray that they can really like talk about it, really like figure out what they want to do as far as their friendship is concerned. But we shall see, y'all. We'll see. And then we'll see like what the trio does, you know, Dolly, Summer, and Lex. I want to see like as far as the celebrity guests, if they're going to actually last long instead of just a few episodes. Like, what is their whole mindset? But we shall see, y'all. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, y'all, because I'm going to be doing reactions and recaps of this season, y'all. So stay tuned in, y'all. Stay tuned in. By the time I upload this, it's going to be like week 3 because I've been busy, but I'm going to catch up so that we can talk about it, y'all. We can kiki about Baddies Africa, y'all. So thank you guys for loving on me as I love on y'all, and I will see you guys in the next video for episode 2, y'all. Thank you for tuning in, y'all, and I will see y'all later. Mwah.